Welcome back to another UJ Sport on UJTV episode. My name is Colin Maepa and we're here with the World Student Games medalists from China. I'm talking about two of our own, Tsebo Matsoso, who won gold, and Nhlanhla Maseko, who also won a bronze medal with three other South African team members. Without wasting too much time, let's get into the conversation. Gentlemen, welcome to the hot seat. You guys went to China. You stayed there for how many? 2-3 weeks?
3 weeks.
3 weeks?
3 weeks, yes.
And how was it there?
It was hot.
Coming from a cold winter and then going into...
Yeah, it was extremely hot and extremely... The humidity there is a lot. So it took some getting used to. And also the 6 hour... We were 6 hours ahead that side, so we had to get climatized. It was a good experience though. Yeah, it was a very good experience.
So was it your first time in that country, in China?
Yes.
Yeah, and you in Nhlanhla as well?
Yeah, it was my first time being there.
Yeah. So was there a culture shock for you? What was the things that you saw there that you're not used to here in South Africa?
The only thing that was strange is that when we got there, we found out that you may not flush the toilet paper.
Yes.
Actually.
Yes.
What?
No, because there's some like drainage system problem.
The plumbing system is very
so you're
brittle.
not supposed to flush.
What happens?
You throw the tissue on the side. There's
There's
a bin for
a
it.
disposal thingy for it.
But we made a query about it and they said we can flush because we're not used to that. So we're not comfortable with that. That was the only weirdest thing there. The only weirdest thing.
Other than that, the food is good.
Everything
The food was
fine.
nice. They really tried to cater to us, so
Yeah.
they really went above and beyond. So we're really happy about that. There wasn't too much of a culture shock.
Yeah. So when you arrived there, how many student athletes were there from other universities across the world?
There was a lot, but we came in different times. So we were one of the first groups to get there. We weren't the first ones, but we were one of the first groups to get there.
Yeah.
And then every other country just kept coming in. I'm like,
Yeah.
No.
So the games that were taking place, some of the games that were taking place in the FISU World University Games included track and field athletics, discus, archery, swimming, what else?
Basketball also.
Basketball. And from South Africa, we had swimmers, we had runners, we had discus throwers.
Didn't we have judo?
We had basketball people.
Yeah, and judo.
Judo as well. Yeah. And I also saw that there were people that performed the Baduanjin Chinese exercise, but that's another story for another day. I'll get Elvis from the Confucius Institute to come and tell us about that. Yes. Anyways, let's get into it.
Yes.
So Tsebo, you are one of the only two South African people that went there and won a gold medal. So South Africa won 20 medals in total, and then only 2 of those were gold. One of the golds was yours. Yes. How do you feel about that?
I feel honored, first of all. I feel honored. It was a privilege to represent the country and my university at that stage. And it was a new experience for me. But I came there confident. I knew what I was capable of doing. I didn't get the best of races, but I'm happy I held out. And yeah, I'm very happy to bring the gold back to SA and my university.
And you went on to win a bronze medal again in the 4x4. Is it 4x400 or 4x100?
The 4x1.
4x1.
Nhlanhla is the one that did the 4x4.
Oh, I see.
Yes.
And then you got a bronze medal. Who were the other team members, and how did you guys plan on winning that medal?
Okay, well, the squad consisted of myself, Patuchetu, Tembo Monareng, Lekat Portriter, and then we had a reserve in the likes of Giano Pedi. So going through the rounds, we had 2 rounds. We had heats and then we had finals. We had the fastest time in the heat. And no one beat our fastest time in the heat, actually. But we really wanted to take gold again.
So what happened? Why did you end up with a bronze medal?
I feel like we didn't have enough time to train together as a group. I feel like that's also the issue also at Budapest also. SC never really has enough time to train relays so we can synchronize properly. We can't get used to each other enough because we only had 2 training sessions.
Yeah.
Yeah, so there was a little bit of mistakes here and there. One changeover didn't go as smoothly as we wanted to, so we had to catch up. We had to catch up, and it's very difficult in a relay when that happens because the rest of the other teams, especially like Asian countries, they're very fluent when it comes to changeovers. So that's why when it came to the last changeover, the Chinese people were so far ahead of us because their changeovers were smooth. They were very smooth, and ours was a bit shaky, so we had to play catch up. I think we were like 5th by the time we got to the last changeover, and then Sean caught up, and then luckily we got a medal. And it's not what we wanted, but we are happy that we got a medal at least.
I also want to know about how do you decide who starts and who's the next person to hand over, the third person, and who finishes. I want to talk about that later. And we'll talk about the world championships, athletic championships. And then you, Nhlanhla, you obviously won the bronze medal in a 4x400.
Yes.
Tell us about who those guys, the other guys that were in your team, and how did you guys go about winning the bronze medal?
It was me, Chart, Vernig, and Gora. That's that. But along the race, I was worried, to be honest. I was worried because I'm the one who started the finals. Because in the heats, I ran the last leg, but in the finals, I started the race. So I told Gora since he was finishing, I was like, bro, I'm going to give you a perfect stagger. Like,
So you were in the third?
No, I was in the first.
So you started.
So basically, I had to do the job first.
Yeah.
Understand? That's why I told him, like, bro, I'm going to make sure I give you a perfect stagger to go.
Yeah.
Then it was Chart. After Chart was Vernig. But on the third leg, I don't know what happened. Maybe the other teams put the quickest guy on the third leg, but they just caught up.
So tell us, because some of us missed some of the stuff, couldn't watch, whether it was due to load shedding or the games happening at an odd time. When you started, why were you the first guy to start, and what influences that, or what informs that decision to say I'm gonna go first?
It was not really my decision. It was the coaches we had there and the mentors we had there. So since I was the quickest at that time, they said I should start so that we can have a lead coming into the second leg, which I gave Chart, and Chart did get like a 20-meter gap lead, and he kept it, which was well. So it was going according to plan. But when it got to the third leg, everything was fine, but the other teams put the quickest guy on the third leg, and we didn't know most, so we didn't prepare for that, and they just caught up.
So the third guy in the South African team,
Yes.
what about him? What did he do?
No, he didn't do
right,
anything
or what
wrong.
didn't? So he's just not fast.
No, he's fast, but the other people were just quicker. So
Quicker
we
than
believe,
him.
you understand? So they caught up, but Gora, with the experience that he had, like, he didn't panic.
Okay.
He didn't panic. So half of his run, I didn't watch it. I looked away.
Why?
Because I was worried. Because at that time, we're like, on what? Fourth, I think. Fourth. I looked away, to be honest.
So you started first. You ran. You are at what position?
First. I gave
When
the
you
person
finish.
first, yes.
So you hand over the baton.
Yes.
And then the second person goes.
I think Chart gave it what? It was second.
Chart,
Was it first? Did he give it first?
you and fourth were like this when Chart gave it away.
Okay, so I think Chart also gave it like
Yeah, they were
more or less the same time.
Yeah.
More or less the same time.
So he was still in the lead.
Yes.
And then the third person, obviously, then there were quicker people
Yes.
that came and closed the gap.
Yeah.
And then the last guy.
Gora also got in like fourth, and then they all went, like the three of them at the back, while Turkey was leading most.
Yeah.
And then Gora just had to fight against that Chinese guy.
Just to get into
Just
the
to get
top
into
three
it.
finish.
Yeah, it was hectic. I was
Yeah.
worried. But yeah, we're in the money, so yeah.
the money.
We're in the money.
And then winning that bronze medal, what does it mean to you? Like finally knowing that at least I got a medal for my country.
To be honest, it's crazy. It means a lot because us going into that race, we actually thought we were the only relay team without a medal, because we thought every team medaled. Because they had medaled, the female 100 medaled, but we didn't know the 4x4 girls didn't medal. So we were worried like, yo, brah.
Yeah, they thought they were the only
So we're
ones.
gonna.
So
So Gora was like, brah.
So you didn't watch Jovial and her team?
No, I knew Jovial is 4x1. Most.
Yeah,
They
yeah.
were way before us.
Oh, okay.
So before us, right before us, it was the 4x4 girls.
Yeah.
So we didn't know they didn't medal because we're still at the warm-up area.
Yeah.
So Gora told me, I was like, bro, if you don't medal, at the airport when you arrive, you walk at the back, and those with medals walk ahead. So like, damn.
So you wanna be in front.
You want to be in front in the media. You understand?
yeah,
You have to
yeah.
be in the money. So the pictures, the first one there.
Okay,
So
I
like,
see.
yo, bro, we just have to. That was the motivation behind everything. That
Yeah.
we're the only ones without a medal, so we have to make it work.
Yeah.
But after, like, hey, bro, we actually got the medal, and there's a team that didn't get, so we just. But that was the oomph for us. So yeah, I'm happy.
I remember before you guys left, Ms. Nomsa Mahlangu went to speak on 947 with
Yeah.
Robert Marawa. And then I think she said the target for South Africa was 20 medals. Some few years back, they came back with how many? 19, 18,
18, I
somewhere
think.
there?
Yeah.
And then this year, the target was 20, and you actually managed to get that. If you get so many medals, okay, maybe let's speak about the money. How much is that? You said there's some precious metals, minerals or stuff in that metal there. What's in there? What did I tell you?
There's gold. There's
gold.
gold. Yeah, there's a small percentage of real gold in
Yeah.
the medal because it is an international medal. Then they give you a certificate with the percentages of the precious metals.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't really read too much of that certificate.
Yeah.
I just got happy with my gold.
And then do you get an incentive, or is just the certificate and the medal?
Well, I can't really talk about that.
Why not?
I can't
Our
really talk
viewers
about
wanna
that.
know.
I really can't
If
talk
you
about that.
guys are getting money and whatnot. And okay, so let's talk about some of your biggest competitors when you were there. Who were the guys that really challenged you in the different distances that you guys ran?
Okay, so for me, when I go to a competition, I don't really think about other athletes because I'm there for a mission and I believe in myself. So in my head, I'm like, I'm the best here. In my head. I'm not going to be cocky though. I am confident. So in my head, I'm like, I'm the best here. And then going through the rounds, that's where you know where you lie. And in my heats, I was very comfortable. I was cruising through my heats. And then I was very confident that I was going to get a medal. I just didn't know the color yet.
Yeah.
And then
Whether it was silver, bronze,
silver, bronze, gold. And then in the semi, I was in the second semi. Someone in the first semi ran a pretty quick time. I didn't know who it was. So I was like, oh, okay.
There's somebody that can
There's
actually
someone
take
that
you
can
on.
be, but in my head I was like, I can match his energy.
Yeah.
I can really match his energy. So when I went through that round, I made sure that I was going to put a pretty decent time. But at the same time, I was going to be easing down, making it look very comfortable.
Before you went to China, I think even before you went to the University Sports South Africa Champs in Bloemfontein, we did have a conversation with you and Sabelo here on UJTV, and you were so confident heading into the USAs. And when we went there in Bloemfontein and I saw you perform there, you were just cruising, and actually by the time you reached the finish line in your 100 meters, and you ran 100 and 200 there?
No, I didn't run the 100 there. I wanted to focus on the 2.
Yeah.
I really wanted to focus on
So
the 2.
you did the 200?
Yes.
And you didn't do you did the relay as well?
Yeah, I did the relay.
Yeah.
So I was finishing.
And you would just reach the finish line, and you're looking at the guys behind you. You were oozing so much confidence there. And even before you went there, you actually told the viewers that you are going to win. And that's where you were selected to be part of the World Student Games entourage from South Africa.
Yes.
And when you got there as well, you were still confident and you win your gold medal. And what gives you so much confidence?
I think that's just my demeanor when I'm on the track. But for the most part, I believe it's my training. So I know how I perform in training. So on paper, I feel like I should be able to do certain things. So that's what gives me the motive that, to carry myself the way I do on the track. Because I ooze confidence, as you said.
Do you look at the qualifying times or the winning times that other athletes have done in the distance that you are running, to say, if I can do 9, last time we spoke about how many, 9 seconds, 9, 10, you said 10.4, 10.3 seconds?
Yeah, it's quicker now.
In 100 meters.
Yeah, it's a lot quicker.
So now it's quicker. And we were talking, I remember we also said that Usain Bolt does 100 meters in 9 point something.
9.5. That's crazy. That's really crazy.
Faster.
It's 9.5.
So when you prepare for championships, do you look at how other people finished their distances in terms of the time, and then you have to beat that? If you can beat that means obviously it gives you the confidence that I can go there to win. If nobody has run 100 meters in less than 8 seconds, and I can do it in 8 seconds. I'm just using that as an
8 seconds
example.
is crazy.
I'm using that as an example. That means I'm the fastest, and if I go there, I know my target is 8 seconds for this distance. And that means obviously I'll be confident in terms of how I approach my competition. Yeah,
I feel like it could work out like that. But as athletes, we're all very different, and we all have different mindsets and how we approach certain situations and championships. So I personally don't like thinking about other athletes, like I said earlier. So I just focus on whether I'm in good shape, I'm healthy, if I'm running close to my PB or even quicker. So, and my training will tell me if I'm close or I can beat it. So I was in pretty good shape headed into the champs.
So when you're at your prime, when you feel that I'm actually at my prime, I've prepared so well and I feel confident, I'm fit, and that's how you get to win a medal.
Yes, but you must also be very focused also. You mustn't get a big head. You really mustn't get a big head. You must know that you're there for a job. So that should take priority over everything. Yeah, so if you're...
let me do this now. If you've just joined us, this conversation is between myself and two other UJ student athletes who have won medals in the FISU World University Games in Chengdu, China. Tsebo Matsoso and Nhlanhla Maseko. Unfortunately, Jovial Mbisha, who is also a University of Johannesburg student athlete who won bronze medal in China, couldn't join us because she's not feeling well. The University of Johannesburg had 15 people that formed part of Team South Africa. 9 of those were the traveling athletes that went to China. 3 athletes were selected, but they were marked as non-traveling athletes. We also had 2 staff members that were managing the team in the likes of Roger Haitengi and Patience Njinkela. And then we also had, of course, the medical staff member Tabang Temo, who was also assisting Team South Africa in Chengdu, China. Gentlemen, I want to talk to you about what are the things that you have learned there that you think you can implement here at UJ?
Well, to be honest, nothing much is going to change, but perspective did change a little bit because there were people that looked a bit intimidating, but you should never let that get to you. So yeah, I feel like that's the biggest thing that you should take off of everything. You know?
Intimidating in terms of what? Physique?
Structure? Yeah, in terms of physique, because they look pretty tough.
Yeah.
Okay, here we're going to have our work cut out for us. And we did. But, you know, you should always carry yourself like, nah, I'm one of the best too. Because at the end of the day, we were selected to represent SA. And I feel like that's a prestigious, it's prestigious. It's you're representing the country,
by being selected, it means already you're doing the right thing.
Yeah, you are part of the best.
And there's a lot of other people that were left behind, and you were selected as the best that the country can put forward.
Yes.
And for you, Nhlanhla, what did you learn there that you think you can implement here?
Nah, the highlight that I've learned, I'll say, is time management, because those people really take their time serious. You understand? Because even like the buses, like take from the village to the stadium. They say the bus is leaving at 7 o'clock sharp. Like literally at 5 to 7, the bus is starting, the engine is going, and then at 7 it leaves. So they wait for no one basically. And if the gun goes at 2:15, the race will go at 2:15. So there's not this thing of not being professional and standing there for long. Like, you know, us athletes always complain about the starter. They made us wait for long. There you don't wait. Like they know you're there for business.
They're very professional, like you say.
We're there for what we're there for, to work, actually.
And the FISU World Student Games came just a month before the World Athletics Championships in Budapest.
Yes.
Do you think that, and of course these are happening just a year before the Paris Olympics take place next year, do you think the World University Games are a good preparation for any athlete that wants to participate in a global stage like the World Athletics Championships or even the Olympic Games?
Well, I believe it is a good stage, because even when we're there are some people who get invites to the world champs. Because I think we had 2 people who got invites, ne?
Yes.
Yeah, which was Marley and Yeah, Mari was on the got an
and
invite.
Yolandi.
And Yolandi. Yeah, two of them got an invite. So I believe it is a good stage to prepare for world champs and Olympics like that. Because if you're good enough, they'll invite you there. So we had two people that were lucky enough or fortunate enough to be invited to the world champs, and they did good there.
Yes.
Now, I want to bring something very interesting here. We've got two other UJ student athletes who didn't want to go to, I don't know if they didn't want to, or maybe I'm being controversial here. They didn't go to the FISU World University Games because they wanted to go to the World Athletic Championships in Budapest. So we watched the competition, how it unfolded there. These guys were eliminated in the heats. They didn't even make it to the semi-final. And of course, I'm talking about Life Pillay and Ryan Patlele, who are UJ Athletics athletes. What do you think, how do you think athletes should approach different championships like that? The student, where should the priority lie? And why is it important to go to the World Athletic Champs and not the student games?
You gave me to answer this.
Yeah, answer first.
To be honest, I believe every athlete has their own goal with their own coach. So I'm not one to say what they should have done or what a person should do. Because maybe if I was in their shoes, I could have done the same. Understand? So on my side, I'd say just stick to what your coach says and what you guys have planned from get-go. If the plan was to go to University Games, then go there. If the plan was to go to World Champions instead of that, then I say do that because that was your plan.
Can you decide for yourself to do that, or does the university decide for you?
I think it's your own call, you and your coach. It's your call with your coach.
Is that so?
Yes, it is. It is because, like you said, every individual is different. So it all depends on the plan that you guys had during the season and before the season started. So I don't know exactly what their plan was, but I feel like the World Student Games would have been a good intro.
Do you think they would have stood a chance to win there?
I'm not sure because every championship is different. You can't really predict. In this sport, you can't really predict.
If you had to rank the student games, the World Athletics Champs, and the Olympics, obviously the Olympic is like
it's way up there.
The pinnacle of athletic competitions. Where do you think the difference is? Let's say let's compare the World Champs as well as the student games.
Oh, the World Champs. Okay, well, I feel like the student games were it's more structured like Olympics because it's different games. It's games. It's games. It's different sporting codes. And it's structured like Olympics. And then World Champs, it's specifically for athletics, for track and field.
But then the World Champs involves people that are not even student athletes, right?
Yes.
And then the student games, obviously, it's for university students.
Yes.
That's why I'm asking the weighting of the two. Do you think that the other one, because it's just students only, maybe the weight is less than the other one?
Well, yeah, it has to go down like that because at the end of the day, World Champs is for, basically, it involves everybody. Yeah, everybody can qualify if they're good enough to. And there's professionally ranked athletes out there. It's just most of them is professional athletes. So that's why it's ranked higher also.
Yeah.
And the point system that side, it gives you, even if you run a slow time, the points that you'll get because it's World Champs will be up there. I feel like that's the most points you'll get at a World Champs because you're competing against the best. And when it comes to World Student Games, I feel it's ranked as a B and World Champ is ranked as an A. So that's where the difference is. But it's still a prestigious
So the World
event.
Champs carry more weight than the student
Yes,
games?
it does.
Okay.
Of course.
All good and well. 36 people selected to represent the country in Budapest, in Hungary, in the World Student Games. None of those athletes brought home a medal. Not a bronze, not a gold, not a silver. 36 of them. Hectic. So you guys, you guys are athletes. What do you make of that? You went to China, you got 20 medals, you came back, and then these guys, 36 of them went to Budapest, no medal at all.
Well, it's a tough question, but I feel like the competition is a lot harder that side. So I feel like we should give them credit that they did try and fight as best as they could. But I feel like our best bet in terms of getting a medal would have been in the likes of Agani and our 4x4.
Yeah.
Our 4x1, I'm sorry. I feel like if the 4x4 ran also, we could have had a decent chance.
Yeah.
However, it didn't go down according to plan because Akani Simbini had, technically it's a false start, but however, he just reacted too quick to the sound of the gun because it's not supposed to be quicker than 0.1, and he went at 0.078.
7, yeah.
Yeah, so it was so close. It was very close, and we were heartbroken as South Africa because like we really did want him to thrive. So he couldn't go to the final because of that. And then the 4x1,
Yeah. I want him to talk about the relay. So he spoke about the changeovers that we need to train more to perfect it. What do you think should be done? I mean, looking at what happened in Budapest, Agani wanted to redeem himself in the relay team because he couldn't do it in the individual race. What do you think South Africans need to do to perfect their relay teams?
To be honest, I really think by now, like most of us saw Agani's interview about how he feels about everything and what he said. I totally agree with him, to be honest. Because I mean, the other countries basically have like camps, like training camps months before the championship or Olympics, like to fix the relays and stuff. And as they said, they didn't have that. We also never had that. You understand? They also never had that. So I believe preparation is the key. We all know that. And they didn't have that. So fumbles are most likely to happen. And it's said that it happened once again to us. And I feel like SA maybe should like put more time or invest in the camps so that the top guys can actually get and work on the relays. Because I believe we had a good team. We could have medaled. So
Actually, what you are saying makes sense. I'm thinking the squad announcements that are made, they are made how many months? A month or just less than a month before the games take place. So that can actually, maybe it's not right. It should be relooked. If they announce the squads, or at least even if they do that announcement a month before the games start, all the athletes should have been in camp at least a month before. So that gives you the 2 months, to train together. Yes. By the time they make the announcement, we know that we've been training together. So the training part doesn't then become an excuse to say we haven't been together for long enough for us to perfect things like changeovers and stuff like that. Could that work?
Yeah, because I believe if we really had that, SA was going to medal. So I believe, because we had a really good team. We had a good team, to be honest.
Interesting. And of course, everyone is preparing to qualify for the Olympic Games next year in France. What are your plans?
My plans? Obviously, it's technically to be realistic, almost every athlete's dream to actually go to the Olympics. And I'm also working towards that because looking at the season that I had this year and how I performed, I had like 2 hamstring tears this year and I made it to the World Student Games, which is basically like a miracle. I didn't believe I was going to be there. So now with the confidence and stuff, knowing that I can actually go faster, if I can just stay healthy, I'm just happy that I finished my season healthy, no injuries, nothing. Now I can just, if I can just stay healthy and work harder than I ever did, because I do have the motivation right now after what I learned that side. So I believe the goal is for everyone to actually want to qualify. But sadly, not everyone is going to go. But yeah, hopefully those who worked for it actually get to go.
And you, Tsebo?
Well, I feel like it's every athlete's dream to go to the Olympics because it is the biggest stage.
So for you, let's just be blunt. You are going to France. I mean, one of the only 2 South African athletes out of 150 people that went there, right?
Yeah, but
150.
I have no idea.
It was a large crowd.
Yeah. Yes, it was. But like it doesn't
representing the country. But you got a gold medal in the World Student Games.
Yes.
I mean, if they don't select you to represent the country in the Olympics, who else can they send there?
We have. Okay, let me put it like this.
Of course, not being cocky, but
yes,
realistically, you stand a chance.
I feel like I do stand a pretty good chance because, I transferred to Gauteng earlier this year, and I didn't have much of a base, and I did perform the way I did. So that gives me a bit of a confidence boost also for next year. And like he said, as athletes, we do go through trials and tribulations and setbacks, and we have to come back from those. That's why some of the meetings I did not do both events, like the 100 and 200. I decided to focus on one because I was a bit more injury prone because of I didn't have much of a base. I wasn't conditioned enough. So when it comes to the qualifying, me and my coach are gonna have a sit down and talk about like which event we're gonna prioritize the most. I feel like I want it to be the 100 because my PB is a lot quicker now. But he's definitely not gonna go with that. I feel like he wants me to go for the 2 or both. So when it comes to qualifying, it also depends. There's different methods of qualifying. There's the ranking, and then there's the standard time. We want to go for the standard time. But however, we can still do the ranking way. But like, I personally would want to go for the standard time. So we just have to push and focus on that and not really, because there's a lot of politics that goes into selecting teams also. Yeah, there's a lot of politics. So,
but as an athlete, if you're great at what you do and you win gold medals, politics, they are gonna be stuck with you. They don't have a choice.
yes, but like I feel like there's still a lot of work for me to do, in all honesty. I do try to keep my head down, even though, like you said, I am confident. I really am, but like I do try to stay as humble as I can. So I'm not gonna say, yeah, no, I'm definitely gonna go to Olympics. I want to, and that is the plan. That is really the plan. So I just have to put the work in, and hopefully, what I produce on the track will do the speaking for me.
What other international competitions are there for you to participate in before the Olympic Games, maybe?
Oh, the Olympic Games. Well, that all depends on how the season goes next year. So, looking at it, the fixtures for the meetings that are to come in the next season, like SAs and Grand Prix, USAs also, they came out. Some of the meetings have to be confirmed, but like we know more or less where the meetings are going to be held. And so we know where we're going to compete and what to do, and we can plan on where to strike, you know, where to focus our main energy on. I was like, okay, here we want to put a pretty good time here, and here not there, because the time of the season also. And happy with, as South African athletes, I feel like we're at a disadvantage because our season is so early. It's so early. It starts in January, and the rest of the world starts their season in May, and that's when the South African season ends for most athletes. So it is a bit difficult to carry the fitness from there all the way till Olympics. Like this year was World Students for us, so it was a bit of a challenge to carry the form and the fitness and the peak all the way to China,
So
to August.
when do you have to start again now to regain your fitness levels again?
Okay, it depends on the plan with the coach, but I haven't started training yet. I'm still on recovery. I'm still resting, and then I'm going to jump into rehab so I can get conditioned properly, and then I'll start my training. I have 2 to 3 more weeks, so we're going to work on that. But like I feel like time is a bit not on our side because the SE season starts in January. But like I want to open my season a bit later than that. Hopefully my coach will agree.
Nhlanhla, what was your highlight in China?
A highlight.
Yeah.
Hey,
Your biggest highlight?
Hey, definitely.
of course.
Definitely my baby, yeah. But yeah, besides the medal and
Can
stuff.
you show it to the viewers?
Hey.
Maybe just hold it, let's see.
In the man.
Yeah, in
It's
the
heavy,
money.
These guys like money. They've been talking about being in the money.
Yeah, within the money.
It does look nice. I must say, guys, congratulations for a job well done in China. And then what competitions do you have to compete? Is it the same competitions that he mentioned?
Yeah, it's more likely the same. It just depends on the plan. As you say, if like you're gonna run this one this week or you're gonna skip with your coach. Depends what your plan is. If you wanna run 3 times before the championship or 4 or 5 times, it's up to you guys. What you guys have in plan.
And if you had to pick one thing that you would carry for the rest of your life from China, what would that be besides the time management?
Besides spending time with the boys, after everything, I'd say if there's a moment I'd also like want to relive is me being in that 400-meter final, because like it was really a special moment for me to win that 400-meter final outside the relay. like my individual event as the final, because I was sixth most in the final. So it was very precious for me because I even ran a PP, a new PP there. So yeah, I don't want to relive that moment, like the build up, everything, the nerves, and it was just fantastic. I loved it.
So, Tsebo, of course, at the end of your race, when you won the gold medal, you are flanked by two people, the silver and the bronze. Then they raise the South African flag. You have to sing your national anthem. What goes on in your head at that moment? How do you feel? And like, I am here. Does it feel like out of body experience for you?
It was an out of body experience because I have never been in that position before. So when I was there at the podium,
What goes through your mind when you sing that national
okay,
anthem?
in my head I was like, okay, the national anthem, let's go, let's go. And then we had to face to the side as we watched the flags go up.
Yeah.
And then I got choked up a little bit because that was a very proud moment for me because you're just there and you see your flag coming up. You're like, oh, okay.
Some
did that.
people cry.
I almost did. I almost did, but I wasn't gonna cry. I choked up a little bit. It felt very rewarding. It felt very rewarding because you have to make a few sacrifices in this sport, and, tough decisions, coming back from setbacks also, and the work that you've put in, the blood, sweat, and tears. I felt like, okay, pay off.
So at that moment, or even after that moment when you just won, when you feel that sense of relief, did you ask yourself or just pat yourself on the back and say, I actually made the right decision by leaving Free State and come to Joburg? I mean, you were studying accounting in the Free State. You had to leave there and come here for whatever reasons. And then you were not winning gold medals that side. Now you are here winning gold medals. How did that feel for you? Did you at some point just feel like sometimes the choices that we make are as important as the things that we neglect? Sometimes we don't take decisions when we should be taking decisions.
Yes.
You took that decision for yourself, and look where you are.
Yes, and it came with a bit of a risk. So I just feel like the most important thing to do in this life, even if it's outside sport, do what makes you happy, do what's best for you. I left because of my own personal reasons. Some people didn't agree with me, some did. So I just believed that I had to be this, to do what I had to do.
And it worked out well for you.
It did work out well this year for me. It did work out well. There was a few sacrifices that I had to make, but I was willing to do that. So I think that's why I got to achieve what I did. So yeah, hopefully the people that side are proud of me, even though they didn't want me to leave. Hopefully they're proud of me. And yeah.
Yeah. So in closing, gentlemen.
Yes, sir.
Nhlanhla, maybe I'm going to start with you.
Oh, yes.
What would be the biggest achievement for you in the future in athletics?
Biggest achievement for me?
Besides what you have achieved now that you are there. Almost when you put the bar here, next time the bar won't be there.
Yeah,
for sure. When we do our KPIs also, they will say you've got so many things to achieve. If you achieve those things or overachieve, then they say, no, you can reach here. That means we must put the bar there. So what's next for you?
Obviously, outside of this, I wish to medal on the big stage one day, and then like Olympic champion or world champion. Some do get both, some get nothing, some get one of those, and hopefully for me, I pray to God that I actually get one of those. That's my goal with my coach, that one day we actually get one of those medals. But obviously, we all want to be like Tsebo and get a gold. That's the one that matters the most. That's where everything comes in that you wish for as an athlete, the gold. So yeah, I'd say medaling in like Olympics or world champions.
Yeah.
That is my big goal from here on.
Yeah. So Tsebo, you've got a gold medal and a bronze medal at the World Student Games.
Yes.
Obviously, you can't say now I've reached that, then I can relax, right? That means you still set even bigger goals for yourself. And what's your goals for the future?
For the future, well, obviously, as an athlete, we all want medals, but I'm not gonna put too much priority in that. For now, in the sport, my biggest goals are to improve my PBs, drastically so.
personal best?
Personal best. So I'm very close to 9 seconds now. And I haven't been a 100-meter athlete for a while. So I'm pretty happy about that. So my goal is to just break the 10-second barrier. And then hopefully also break the 19-second barrier also, the 20-second barrier. I feel like I'm close, especially with the way my coach structures his training program also. I feel like he's a genius. So I also want to add that this is because of him too. So he's really...
What's his name?
Course.
His name is Nhlanhla Maseko.
Okay.
Yeah, he's
He's a UJ coach.
He is a UJ coach. Yes, he's amazing.
Shout out to you.
Shout
Renee.
out, shout out, Vardo. So he's really a beast. He's very technical. He's just a genius, man. So I just want to give him credit on that. And yeah, he's one hell of a person also as an individual. His character speaks volumes. So
you did the 4x100.
100. Yes.
And then you got a bronze medal in there.
Yes.
And then you won your gold medal in the 200-meter sprint.
Yes.
And then Nhlanhla, you got your bronze in the 4x100.
4x4.
4x400. Yes. Mbisha, Jovial Mbisha, who's a UJ student athlete as well, got her bronze medal with 3 other team members in the 4x100.
Yes.
Oh, I see. Okay. So on the 30th of September 2023, the University of Johannesburg together, it's a combination of departments, of course, led by UJ Sport, will be hosting the UJ Future Walk at the A.W. Miller Stadium next to the Bunting Road campus. You guys are going to run the 8 kilometers. It's part of your training.
We're not told anything about it. It's not in the plan.
No, we got to include you in there. You must lead by example.
Let's go. I'm
Now we
down.
can
Yeah, it's a fundraising walkathon. If you want to run, you can also run. The distances there are 100 meters for kids at the stadium, 2.5 kilometers for maybe people that have got disabilities, and then 5 kilometers for those that are not used to walking long distances. And then, of course, for those that are a bit faster and more fitter, you can do the 8 kilometers right there at the A.W. Miller Stadium on the 30th of September 2023. We'll be raising funds for our missing middle students. Please buy your tickets and we will see you there. Gentlemen, thank you for being part of the story.
Thank you for having us.
This is UJ Sport on UJTV.
Peace out.
The University of Johannesburg, the future reimagined.